There's nothing quite so satisfying as hitting a really good chip shot, having it finish right near the flag, and your mate saying, pick it up. That doesn't always happen though. And so what I want to look at today is having the way of finding that you're able to hit chip shots without running the risk of a mishit. Hi, I'm Peter Knight, and I've created this channel, Peter Knight Golf, to help you play the best golf you possibly can. And today it's about hitting these little short shots, little chips or small pitch shots. A lot of players struggle with them. There's very little force going into the shot. They're only hitting them short distances generally. With a full swing, when you make a full swing movement, you're actually generating a lot of force. And so even if the ball struck a little bit thin or you hit the ground a little behind the ball, then you're generally going to get a shot that's reasonable. However, with these shots, not so much the case. You hit a little thin and the ball can rocket across the other side of the green, a little behind the ball, and the ball doesn't go very far at all. So a couple of things we want to look at. The first of them is that remembering that a lot of the difficulty that happens with these shots is because of history. So a player stands up to a shot, assesses the shot. Even before the assessment phase, they're thinking about the failures they've had with these shots in the past. And even standing over the ball, that's still going through their mind. So not very helpful when you're distracted from hitting a good shot by thinking about the failures. The second thing is, and this sort of leads on from the thought about possibly hitting a poor shot, is there's going to be so much tension in the movement. So when you're playing the shot, the first thing to think of is soft or gentle. So when I'm setting myself up, if we run through some of the key things to begin with. So when I'm setting myself up, my feet are nice and close together, ball's about the center of my feet. My balance is either even on both feet or even a little bit to my front foot. When I strike the ball, I want to have the shaft leaning forwards about this much. So it's probably around about 10 to 15 degrees when I'm playing these shots. Now, in order to do that, I need to have my wrists to stay quite soft. So my feeling is that I'm not using my hands during the stroke itself. My hands are sensing the movement of the club head, but I'm not actually using them. If I make a short swing, again, keeping my wrists really soft, when I change direction, you can see there's a little bit of movement with the club. That's because my arms have started to move back towards the target, but my club head is still wanting to go the other way. So there will be a small amount of movement. Now, I'm not going to make any attempt to try and recover that movement. In other words, I'm not going to try and make the club come back straight to the ball. So we can get the feel of the movement, and for most players, when they're practicing their chip shots, they can make those practice swings and everything seems pretty fine. What we need to do now is we need to find a bridge between being able to do that and, of course, what happened in the past. So the way that we're going to do it, I'm actually going to tee this ball up to make it a little bit easier for me. And I'm going to do this in a couple of stages. I'm going to make some practice swings. So the tee's in the ground here. I'm going to make some practice swings with my eyes closed. And my intention is to keep my arms soft and note whether or not I'm making contact with the tee. Made contact with it, I actually broke it with that little swing. So I've made contact with the tee. Maybe a good idea is use a plastic tee that won't break rather than a wooden one. So now my next stage is to put a ball on the tee. So there's enough of the tee there for me to be able to tee the ball up. It's a little bit lower, but again, I'm going to play the shot with my eyes closed. When I'm playing the shot with my eyes closed, I'm much more aware of any tension change during my body whatsoever. So I'm set myself up to play this shot, eyes closed, and make that same movement, and then get the feeling of whether or not the movement was smooth or not. Don't worry about the result. The key thing is about how smooth was the movement. Once you've done that a few times and you've got the recognition of that feel in your hands, in your arms, in your body, then you can introduce the ball on the ground with your eyes open or closed to begin with. That could be another step. Just hit it on the ground but with your eyes shut, or hit it when it's sitting on the ground with your eyes shut. And then, of course, the real one, when you play the shot with your eyes open, playing the same shot and getting a sense, did I play that shot as smoothly with my eyes open as what I did when I just had a tee there and my eyes were closed? had the ball on the tee and my eyes were closed. So we're looking for that transition feel. And you may need to go sort of backwards and forwards a little bit between those two types of shots to get the feeling that you're after, where you're not actually interfering with it whatsoever. You practice that and I'll guarantee it'll stop virtually all of the mishit chip shots.